Hi everyone, this is Luxthos, and today I want to bring you guys another video for Diablo 4, and this time around we're going to be talking about leveling. So I'm not going to make any claim that this is the most efficient way to level or anything like that, because to be fair, that keeps changing, that's always different, and to be quite honest, I think the most efficient way to level is boring as hell. So, for example, on my level 100 Necromancer, I went through the entire story, and then I decided to spam some Nightmare Dungeons, which was quite fun. I had a wide variety of dungeon to explore, and I ended up getting a bunch of cool rewards, and it was just fun. It was challenging, and it kind of put my, my build and abilities to the test. So that was really, really fun. And that ended up being quite pleasing to go through, instead of doing the same dungeon over and over, which I tried to do for a couple level, but that was not so fun. So I decided to look at my brand new alt here, which I'm currently leveling, the little baby druid right now, having a ton of fun with the pet tornado build. It's been really, really pleasing so far. And I've been looking at what's the most fun way that I could approach leveling in terms of having a nice flow of things to do and just diversify my leveling, and how fun I could make it and how efficient I could make it as well. Because it's one thing to make it fun, but you also don't want it to take forever, right? And here's how I've been doing it so far. It's been going pretty well. It's been going pretty fast. And it hasn't been boring, honestly. I kind of look forward to leveling my druid every time I log on, right? So first things first, if you've completed the campaign on your main character and you've discovered most of the important city waypoints and you have all of the altars, you've grinded also some of the renown, it's going to make leveling a lot easier, right? Because you're going to have access to skill points, or you're going to have a total of 10 skill points when you start your new character. That's going to be pretty massive. You're also going to have access to more potions and all that fun stuff, and even some paragons once you hit level 50. So that's going to be neat. That's going to help out the leveling a lot. The altars of Lilith as well, if you've collected all of them on your main, that's going to give you a massive amount of stats to start your brand new character with, which is going to make you just way more stronger when you level. This is just going to fast forward the process a little bit. And here's how I would describe the leveling process. Here's the list of activities that I want to do in a particular order. So you'll see that once you are on your new character, you have access to the Tree of Whispers. So from the first level that you log on, the Tree of Whisper is visible on the map, and you have the waypoint right next to it unlocked, which is really, really, really neat. So that's going to be one of the main source of experience that we're going to get here. But not only the Tree of Whisper, the top priority is actually going to be Legion event. So Legion event are going to spawn throughout the day, every couple of minutes, every couple of hours. They're just going to show up, and they're going to have a pretty good ratio of XP for the time that it takes to clear them. So that's going to be really, really neat. You're just going to have to pay attention to strongholds. So some of them might be locked behind certain strongholds. So for example, this top one right here in the Fracture Peak, there's going to be a Legion event that's going to spawn in this one pretty often. So you're going to want to make sure that you unlock them as you see them. If you see a Legion event that's locked behind a stronghold, make sure that you head there, clear it. You might miss it for this time, but the next time that it opens up in that location, you will be good to go. Also, Stronghold will give you a really, really nice chunk of experience, so that's not going to be time wasted, right? As you can see on the map right now, we currently do not have any Legion event, so I'm going to move down actually to my second highest priority task, which is going to be to complete a Tree of Whisper. This is going to give you a pretty sizable chunk of XP bar every time you complete it, on top of actually making you complete some dungeons and having a little bit of variety in your gameplay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for dungeons. Those are the best in my opinion. Also, you can go for a dungeon that you haven't completed yet, which will reward you with extra aspect. And that's pretty much how we're going to do it. So I'm going to pin one of those dungeon, and I'm going to teleport to the closest waypoint. I'm going to walk all the way over there, clear the dungeon, and then check for the map again. Once that first dungeon is completed, we're going to be looking, okay, is there a Legion event up? Or do I just keep doing dungeons, right? Do I just keep completing the Tree of Whisper? If there is no dungeon available for the Tree of Whisper, and there is no Legion event, what I like to do is I'll fall back on my favorite dungeon of choice. One dungeon that has high density, for example, and that is pretty easy to clear. For example, the Sirocco Caverns, very popular one. Those keep getting tuned on and off, so there's not really any reason to give you like a tier list of all the best dungeon. just go to any dungeon that has any sizable amount of density, if possible close to a waypoint. That would be great as well. That's going to be your last thing that you're going to do on your list. So again, you're going to do Legion event first, then you're going to do dungeon for the Tree of Whisper, and then if all of those things are falling off and not working and none of them are active at the time, then fall off on your favorite dungeon that you can do 1, 2, 3 times top before any of those other things spawn again. As you can see, a Legion event just spawned in 4 minutes here. So my top priority would possibly to go do this event right now. But as you can see, it's going to be in a location that I have not unlocked. Okay, so this is in a Stronghold event location that I have not unlocked, which means I'm not going to be able to do it. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to head to this dungeon, complete it, then I'll move over to here, complete the Stronghold, and then proceed with the rest of my list here, with the rest of the things. So see you at the end of our first dungeon here. All right, so we've done that. Now we have to do another dungeon to go complete a Tree of Whisper. This one is like right next to it, 40 minute. It's pretty neat. There we go. There we go. Another little dungeon done, and then we're going to run over to the Tree of Whisper right here. We're going to go complete this and get our bonus XP. All right, so we're now done with our 2 dungeons here, which has filled our Tree of Whisper bar right here, or Grim Favor. So we're going to go ahead and turn that in. And pretty luckily with the timing here, we also have a Legion event that just spawned. So we're going to go ahead and do that for some extra XP here. So we're going to go ahead and complete this. Take whatever reward you feel like is going to help your character the most. Rings are kind of nice. They have like some nice legendary power if you get lucky. And there we go. Also, they're really, really good to put legendary power on because you're not going to swap them that often. Once you find good rings, your weapon is something you're going to be swapping a little bit more often. So imprinting legendary on it, depending on if you have a main with a lot of gold, it's not going to cost you a lot. But if this is your first character, you're not even going to be following this guide. So this is mostly going to be for leveling alts. So if you have a lot of gold, you can just imprint and re-roll. As you can see, I've been having a ton of fun here with getting some of the best stats for my druid, just getting like really, really cool piece of gear while leveling. This has been really fun. So once we did complete here the Tree of Whisper, we got a pretty nice chunk of our XP bar here just for completing this. So normally we would go back to right into it to go try to do some dungeon. This one is going to expire in 28 minutes. They're all going to expire in 28 minutes. So you want to make sure that you go and keep doing those and try to get as many Tree of Whisper. But again, when you see the Gathering Legion event, this is when you're going to want to stop a little bit and just go do these. They're really, really nice for XP. And then afterward, you can go back and do a little bit more dungeon for the Tree of Whisper. Or if they're all about to run out, which is most likely going to happen here. So after this Legion event, I'm going to see how much time there is left on the timer before the dungeons are reset for the Tree of Whisper. If there's over 10 minutes, I'll usually go and try to clear it in time because I know I can clear them really fast. If you know that you're slower at clearing a little bit, then maybe you're going to want to try to hold off and maybe go farm another dungeon in the meantime. Because you don't want it to reset on you. Otherwise, if it resets, you're not going to get the credit for it. But you'll still get a dungeon completion, which is XP. So at the end of the day, you're not wasting your time too much. So we're just going to head there. We're going to wait for the event to start. We're going to clear it. And then we're going to go back into farming some dungeon for the Tree of Whisper. So this is really, really cool. And the cool thing about this is that it also applies to at a higher level once you get to Nightmare Dungeon. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that later after we're done with the Legion event here. So see you at the event. All right, so this Legion event is about to start here. We just got here in time. And these are pretty much all going to function the same way. There's going to be Commender or Servant, and you need to kill all the monster and the Servant in time in the time limit. So it's going to be very important to try to split. Sometimes you'll get groups that don't really know how to handle these, and everybody's going to go the same way, and it's not going to go as fast. The only thing is you'll get a little bit less chance, less loot at the end. It happens. As you can see here, there's going to be 2 ping. We're just going to go clear these, try to clear as much trash as possible, try to clear the Commender, and then at the end, if you manage to kill all 3, I mean, the final boss will always spawn, right? But if you manage to kill all 3 in time and do the event in time, then you'll be getting more rewards out of it, right? So it's not the end of the world if you don't succeed, but just try to focus on the right objective. Try to focus on the right monster. There's going to be a lot of monsters that are going to be protected by some kind of structure. If you don't kill those structures, the monster is not going to take damage. Just make sure you're attacking the right thing. Help your team. And just have a good time. There's a lot of monster density here. There's a lot of people gathered around. So it's going to make it not a too challenging activity. Make sure you have your potion. If there's a campfire, make sure you use it for extra XP. You know, just all that kind of stuff. Just make sure you optimize your XP here, but have a good time. There's a lot of people, so the difficulty is pretty low. And res your teammate. It's always nice. You know, always be nice. There we go. Kill those monster. Make sure you do all the activities. And at the end, you'll be able to kill the final boss and get a nice reward. Some very, very nice loot, some obols for possible gambling, and a sizable chunk of XP. So we're going to do this Legion event, and we're going to be right back. All right, so each wave is just going to get significantly harder in terms of time. So we did not manage to kill the last Servant of Hell here in this situation, but it doesn't really matter that much. We're just going to go ahead and kill the final boss here, get a reward, and be out of here. Well, let's go ahead and kill these little additional monster and focus our damage on the last boss. All right, so this is going to be the end of the Legion event here. We're only going to get 2 chests out of this one. We're going to get some pretty nice loot. So not only do you get a lot of yellows, you'll often get legendaries. I think my last one that I did, I got 2 or 3 legendaries. You're going to get a lot of obols, which are going to allow you to get even more gambling and loot from the curiosity vendor. So that's going to be really good. It's just going to be a nice way to make sure that your character not only levels fast, but stays up to date and find a good piece of gear. I think there's a little bit more piece of information that I want to share here. I'm in World Tier 1, which makes all of this a little bit easier. Obviously, you could push it in World Tier 2, especially if you're on Softcore. This is just going to allow you to just get a little bit more XP from your kill, but it's going to slow down everything. So I found that for me, World Tier 1 was working better, even though I'm losing this 20% bonus to XP. I feel like I'm killing most of these solo dungeons so much faster that it's actually fast. It's actually just better, right? So even though this is an alt, which has a lot of skill points and a lot of extra stats, World Tier 2 just take that much more time. In my opinion, it's more than the 20% that you get, which will slow your leveling down in the long run. So unless you're playing a super broken build that allows you to one-shot everything in Tier 2, I recommend sticking to Tier 1. So this is going to be the leveling process that I'm going to take for leveling my alt druid here from 1 to 50 plus. I'm just going to be rotating through all of these different activities. So right now I just got done with the Legion event. We're going to go back to doing dungeon for the Tree of Whisper, and we're just going to keep doing that. You can do world bosses if you want, but at lower level they tend to not always succeed, which can result in a pretty, you know, good chunk of time that you end up wasting, right? So if you have a friend that's going to help you out, and you can guarantee that the world bosses is going to go down, it's kind of nice to go for them. Otherwise, I would kind of avoid the world bosses unless you know that you're going to get the kill or you're going to get some good rewards out of it. I tend to avoid them right now. So I've just been doing the Tree of Whisper, the Legion event, and then when none of these are available, so as you can see right now, we got 15 minutes. If you know that you're not going to be able to clear the dungeon in 15 minutes and get the reward, you can fall back on a guaranteed good dungeon, like Sirocco Caverns, for example. You can run that for 2 to 3 times, maybe 1 to 2 times until the Tree of Whisper dungeon reset again, and then you simply repeat the cycle, go for the Legion event, and all that good stuff. So this can also translate past level 50 once you get access to Nightmare Dungeon. And the way that I would do it, and the way that I am going to do it here in this case with this character, is I'm going to be spamming keys. I'm going to be spamming keys that are going to yield me dungeons that have monster roughly 3 level higher than me. This is when you're going to get the most amount of XP, which is going to be 25% bonus XP if you're able to do so. And the cool thing about this is that it's going to continue scaling your character with the glyph that you're going to start finding. So you're going to be finding glyphs for your class. You're going to be able to upgrade them, which is going to allow you to scale. Is it the fastest way to level? It is not. But it is, in my opinion, the most efficient way character progression wise, and also one of the most fun way. So what I would do is, as soon as I get access to Nightmare Dungeon, as soon as I'm strong enough to go complete this the capstone dungeon that is going to be at 50 plus, right around 50 60, you're going to want to go do that capstone dungeon. You're going to want to go in world tier 3, and then you're going to be able to start getting some keys from the Tree of Whisper and start doing Nightmare Dungeon. So what I'll be doing is doing those keys to try to do some comfortable dungeon that I can clear at a nice pace and yield me a decent amount of XP and also progression throughout the glyph. And every time I encounter a Legion event, I'm going to do the Legion event. So I'm no longer going to be hunting specifically for these dungeons. They're just going to happen kind of naturally. So as you're spamming keys, those keys will line up on Tree of Whispers dungeon. So you'll be doing the Nightmare Dungeons, which are going to give you sizable good chunk of XP, and then you'll be leveling your glyph, and then every once in a while you just notice that your Tree of Whisper is going to be capped automatically. Then you go there, you complete it, you look for a Legion event, and then you do the next key. You can do this process all the way from level 1 to level 100, right? It's going to be the same process. So from 1 to whatever level you end up being when you do the capstone dungeon, you just do the Tree of Whisper, the Legion event, and some repeatable dungeon when none of these are possible. And as soon as you do the capstone and enter the Nightmare Dungeon era, then you can start replacing those Tree of Whisper dungeon with the Nightmare Dungeon to start scaling your character so that you're going to have an easier time killing the bosses, allowing you to go to the next step, right? So this is going to be really important. The first bracket, I think, for the capstone dungeon is going to be 40 to 50, depending on your character. And then the next one is going to be 50 to 70 for the second capstone, leading you to the latest difficulty. So that's going to be my plan for leveling. It's been very effective so far. It's been super fun. And I hope this has been informational for you. I hope you've been able to get some information out of it. And let me know what the results are, if you're enjoying it, if there's something that I missed that maybe you're doing that you think is super valuable that you would like to add in the comments down below. Otherwise, my friend, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these kinds of little informational video. And otherwise, I'll see you in Sanctuary, my friend. Bye-bye.